What's going on? You're watching NFL Daily. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports. If you guys haven't already subscribed, please make sure you do. Make sure you turn on those notifications because when I go live every single Wednesday, I'm going to be here to answer your questions. So if you want to get your questions answered, that's how you go ahead and you do it. Now we got some questions coming in. This first one's going to come in from, I believe this is going to be Jenkins Gaming. It says, does Dallas re-sign Randy Gregory? Probably. I mean, Randy Gregory just seems to be a guy that just keeps on floating around there in Dallas. But if it was up to me, I would want him to take a little bit of a pay grade. He's been good at times, but he's also been, a little bit of a disappointment. Let's go to Infinity with the Russell Wilson rumor. Should Seattle consider taking Carston Strong in the later rounds? I mean, Carston Strong's a good quarterback. I just don't. I think it's going to come down to what does Pete Carroll want to do? If Pete Carroll's not there, what does the next head coach do? Carston Strong has an unbelievable arm, but I do worry if you put Strong in a bad position, he's going to be a quarterback that struggles. But if you put him with somebody like Brian Dabo in a successful offense, then you're going to see him shine a little bit. If I was Seattle, personally, I would go out and I would sign a free agent quarterback. Somebody who you can't break, because what I'm worried about is Seattle's going to be really, really bad next season. Now, we do have a super chat coming in, and it's from Kyle Robinson, and it says, is Baker Mayfield trade in New Orleans actually a possibility this offseason, and what type of deal would that look like? I mean, if I was the Saints, I would absolutely not want Baker Mayfield. If I was any NFL team, I would never trade for Baker Mayfield. Like, there's other NFL free agent quarterbacks out there. I'd probably rather have Jameis in terms of free agency. Andy Dalton would be a name that I would at least consider. Nick Foles. And the only reason is this. Not that I think that they're better, but I'm not going to give up draft capital to go out and get Baker Mayfield, who is coming off surgery. It's going to take him 4 to 6 months to be able to heal. So, no, I would not want to trade for Baker Mayfield. Let's go to Gregory. Let's say Russell Wilson leaves, all right? No first-round pick. Who would be Seattle's quarterback in 2022? So I know we kind of already got a question around this. I'm not going to draft somebody. I'm sorry. It's just not what I would do. I'd probably just sign a free agent, throw him to the Wolves, maybe like an Andy Dalton, maybe like a Jameis Winston. Tyrod Taylor, if you want to be mobile, Marcus Mariota. Those are just some of the names that pop in my mind right now. Now, we're talking kind of about quarterbacks, right? So who's going to be the very first QB drafted in 2022? Some of the names to consider: Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Sam Howell, Carston Strong. Some people might even throw Desmond Ridder in there. I wouldn't personally. If I was a betting man, it's going to be Kenny Pickett, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's Matt Corral. Hell, in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft, which, by the way, you guys can check out on the channel, it was neither of those guys. Find out who Mel had the Washington football team taken at number 11. Let's go to Jared Peterson. Should the Jets take Stingley or Hamilton? Well, if I was the Jets, I would take Hamilton because I think Hamilton's a little bit more versatile. And to be honest, he reminds me a lot of like a Derwin James, where if James was healthy, we would talk about Derwin James as being one of the best overall defensive players in all of football. Like, that's how good he is. Stingley, to me, has a lot of bust potential. He was really good in 2019, a little bit shaky in 2020, and then 2021 also not great. So for me, I would take Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame despite his recent injury. Let's go to Antoine Robinson. Will Derrick Henry have over 100 yards this week against the Bengals? I'm going to go ahead and say probably, because he's King Henry. He's averaged, I believe, 117 rushing yards per game. I mean, in his playoff career, I believe that's the second highest of all time. I'm going to say yes, but I still think that the Cincinnati Bengals end up winning that game. Anton, I appreciate your question. If anybody wants to get those questions in, remember, hashtag NFL or Super Chat. Let's go to this next one. Coming in from The Truth, none of the quarterbacks are first rounders in my opinion. But in my opinion, Pickett goes first. Lots of experience. I don't really 100% agree that none of them are first rounders. Kenny Pickett to me reminds me a lot of Justin Herbert, not in terms of talent, but in terms of Herbert had 4 years at Oregon, and when he came to play for the Chargers, he was kind of ready to go. Pickett got a lot better year after year after year, kind of similar to what Joe Burrow saw, where Pickett's not this super athletic guy. He just has unbelievable pocket awareness, and he's just a gamer. So I agree that I don't know if I would take any of these guys in the top 10, but I agree. Pickett's probably going to be the number one guy off the board. Now, if you guys want to bet on NFL draft props, there's going to be a ton of them. You can actually do them at chatsports.com/bet. make sure you use promo code NFL Daily for 125% deposit bonus. Now, if you want to bet on any NFL playoff game, you can go ahead and do so. If you want to bet on some head coaching props, you can go ahead and do so. How do you do it? Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily for 125% deposit bonus. Now, I might just be saying this because I'm hungry. This deal is so good. Imagine a world where you get a pizza, they give you a free pizza, then you get 2 additional slices. Yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. Let's go to Jesse Gonzalez. Should the Cowboys re-sign Michael Gallup? I'm going to say no. And it's not because I don't like Michael Gallup. It's because Cedric Wilson's been really productive for me. You have Amari Cooper. You have CeeDee Lamb. You already have 3 really solid wide receivers. And the fact that Gallup's going to be coming off that major injury, ACL, it's never a good sign. So as much as I like Gallup in Dallas, I'm going to say no. Let's go to B-Riz. Who do you think the Miami Dolphins get as their next head coach? Well, definitely somebody that believes in Tua, because Brian Flores was let go from everything that I hear because he didn't believe in Tua long term. So I'm thinking Kellen Moore, Brian Dable, Doug Peterson, definitely some names to keep in mind. I don't know if Matt Eberflus is going to be somebody who could be a potential candidate, but you got to be able to find somebody who believes in Tua that can build around Tua Tagovailoa. And just some of the names that I mentioned there, I've even heard some people say Brian Dable. So, or not Brian Dable. The offensive coordinator for Alabama was the old head coach, Bill O'Brien. Get it together, Mitch. So those are just some of the guys to at least keep in mind. Now, whoever's going to be that next head coach of the Dolphins, as soon as we find out, we're going to go ahead. We'll keep you guys up to date. Also, we've made tons of videos around all the new head coaches. We've made tons of videos around the draft, free agency. And if anybody out there is wondering, why should I subscribe to Chat Sports? Here you go. We got NFL videos literally every single day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. We go live at least 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday. My guys are going live tomorrow, Chase and Harrison, for any given Thursday. And then you got interactive YouTube channel, so shout out to Kyle Robinson, Taylor Holland, Frankie P. More subs equals more videos, and we're 100% free. So before I go to this next question, hit that sub button and turn on those notifications. Let's go to Big Steel Curtain 69. The Steelers' defense is ready to win now. Thoughts on trading for Jimmy Garoppolo? No. If I'm going to trade for a quarterback in a win-now team, it's not going to be Jimmy G. Though I will give Jimmy G credit. He does win games, but I think it's more to do with the running game. It's more to deal with the situations he's been in and the defenses. But if I'm Pittsburgh and I want to trade for a quarterback, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, it's those names. And if I don't get one of them, you go to the draft. Let's go to Woke Queen. Jalen Hurts actually played a lot better than most young quarterbacks, and I'm not an Eagles fan. I don't disagree with you, but the Eagles are never going to win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. And then when game scripts are positive in terms of when Eagles are ahead and you can run the football, Eagles are a hard team to beat. But if you get behind and you got to rely on Jalen, it's just not going to work, though it does sound like that they're going to stick with him as their quarterback in 2022. The truth, LSU DBs are hit or miss. Patrick Peterson is a hit. Morris Claiborne, big-time miss. Now, I'm not really going to sit here and say I'm going to judge the helmet because I actually hate when people do that, but it's kind of been that history. I mean, even like Florida, a lot of cornerbacks that have come out of Florida have been a little bit hit or miss. Now, one of the guys that's been a hit, and probably the best cornerback in the league, is Jalen Ramsey. Now, he came from Florida State, which that whole program has been an absolute disaster. But let me know who you guys got in this game. Type LAR for the Rams. Type TB for the Buccaneers. If you want to know who I took, I put out a video earlier on the channel. Go ahead, check it out. I know, really difficult to say. Let's go to BTMS. Brian Dable reunite with Tua. Well, I understand what you're thinking here, but I personally think that Tua and Brian Dable might be something to consider. I just think it's going to be Kellen Moore, but Brian Dable could end up being a guy. Was Dable the OC, though, when Tua was there for Alabama in the first year? Okay, he definitely was. Yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind, BTMS. Now, if I missed your question, guys, remember you can always hit me up on IG or on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. I've been doing a lot better job doing a lot more IG lives. Now, I usually talk about the Raiders. I usually talk about fantasy football, and if that stuff interests you, please hit me up. Let's go to Jeff's burner account. We got a few more questions, and then I'm going to get out of here. I got to go get dinner. I'm going to be honest. I am starving. So let's say the Giants get a trade offer from the Dolphins, a third-round pick for Saquon Barkley. Would this be a good trade? I actually think it's kind of a good trade for both sides. Miami They need a running back, and for the Giants, I love Saquon. I think he'd be a really good player in offenses, though Miami's offensive line is not very good whatsoever. So if you can get a third-round pick for Saquon, I think you take it. And then you're going to have to then go ahead and pay him. It's like $7.2 million. So the Giants, they save that money. Miami gets a stud running back, and then you have him finish off the deal. And if Saquon's good, you give him more money. If not, then, hey, get rid of him. Let's go to Colin Franklin. If you had to guess who will be the Giants head coach, unless we get a super chat, this is going to be the final question on today's mailbag. If I had to guess who's going to be the Giants head coach, I'm going to get a little bit ballsy. I think it's going to be Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores is going to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and take a bet. And if you guys want to bet, remember, chatsports.com/bet, promo code NFL Daily. Now, we do have one more game here, and I want you guys to answer this one. I'm going to be looking down in the comment section. Who you got? I want you to type KC for the Kansas City Chiefs, or I want you to type BUF for the Buffalo Bills. I'm hoping that the Bills win, but if the Kansas City Chiefs win, I'm ultimately not going to be all that upset.